In a small village, nestled between lush green fields and rolling hills, lived a wealthy and cunning landlord named Jam. He was feared by the villagers, known for his greed and ruthless business tactics. Jam owned most of the farmland in the area and rented it out to poor farmers, but his terms were always unfair. No matter how hard the farmers toiled, most of the profits found their way into Jam's pockets. Jam sat on the veranda of his grand mansion, enjoying fresh fruit while his loyal servant, Mangu, stood nearby ready to serve him. "These poor farmers," Jam sneered, taking a bite of a ripe mango. "They work from sunrise to sunset, breaking their backs for a few grains of rice, while I sit comfortably and collect my due." Mangu chuckled. "You are the master of this village, sir. No one dares to challenge your rules." Just then a humble farmer named Burju arrived. Burju was from a neighboring village, desperate for an opportunity to grow crops and provide for his family. He stood before the landlord, his hands folded respectfully. "Landlord, I have heard that you lease out land for farming. I would like to rent a piece of your land for a year," Burju said, his voice filled with hope. Jam smiled slyly. "Of course, Burju. But there are conditions." Burju hesitated but nodded. "What conditions, sir?" "You will farm my land, and when the harvest is ready, you will give me half of the crops. The other half will be yours," Jam explained. It was a harsh deal, but Burju had no other choice. "I agree, landlord," he said, bowing in gratitude. Burju worked tirelessly, plowing the land with his bare hands and tending to the crops with great care. Through scorching summers and heavy monsoons, he labored day and night, hoping for a good harvest. Months passed and finally, his fields were full of golden grains. The sight of the ripened crops filled Burju with joy. He could finally provide for his wife and children. Hearing of the successful harvest, Jam and Mangu arrived at the field. "Ah, Burju, looks like you've done well this year," Jam said, stepping onto the field. "Now, let's not forget our agreement. Half of the harvest is mine." Burju swallowed his frustration and nodded. As per their deal, he divided the crops. But Jam, being his usual greedy self, chose the best portion, leaving behind smaller and damaged grains for Burju. The poor farmer watched helplessly as Jam and Mangu loaded carts with the finest grains, laughing as they walked away. That evening, Burju sat outside his hut, his face filled with sorrow. His son, Kishan, who had recently returned from studying in the city, noticed his father's distress. "Father, why are you so worried?" Kishan asked. Burju sighed. "Son, this is our fate. No matter how hard we work, men like Jam take everything. We are left with nothing." Kishan's eyes darkened with determination. "Not anymore, father. Leave it to me." The next morning, Kishan walked confidently to Jam's mansion. "Landlord, I wish to lease your land this year," he said. Jam smirked. "Oh, you think you're smarter than your father? Very well, but this time here's my condition. You can keep whatever grows beneath the soil. I will take whatever grows above it." Kishan smiled. "Agreed, landlord." Instead of planting rice like his father, Kishan planted potatoes. He nurtured them with care, ensuring a bountiful harvest. When the season ended, Jam arrived with Mangu, eager to claim his share. "Time to collect my portion," Jam said, rubbing his hands together. "Of course, landlord," Kishan replied, leading him to the fields. "You asked for what grows above the soil, so here, take the leaves." Jam's eyes widened in shock. "What? You planted potatoes?" "Yes, landlord," Kishan said, lifting a basket full of fresh potatoes. "It's what's beneath the soil that holds value." Mangu gasped. "Master, that boy tricked you." Jam clenched his fists. "Next time I will outsmart him," he growled. The following season, Kishan again approached Jam. "Landlord, I wish to lease your land again," he said politely. Jam grinned. "This time I will take what grows beneath the soil and you can keep what grows above." Kishan agreed without hesitation. This time he planted wheat. When the harvest was ready, Jam arrived, confident he had won. "Kishan, it's time to collect my share," he said, a smug look on his face. "Of course, landlord," Kishan replied, handing him a bundle of roots. "As per our deal, the roots are yours." Jam's face turned pale. "What? You planted wheat?" Yes, landlord. The roots belong to you, but the grains which grow above the soil are mine. Jam's jaw tightened. This boy is too clever, he muttered. Mangu shook his head. Master, you've been tricked again. Furious, Jam declared, next time I will take both the top and bottom parts of the crop. You will only keep what grows in the middle. Kishan nodded. As you wish, landlord. This time, Kishan planted sugarcane. When the crop was ready, Jam arrived with a triumphant smile. Well, Kishan, he said. Kishan pointed to the sugarcane. Take the roots and the top leaves, landlord. Jam's face fell as he realized what had happened. The sweet, valuable stalks, the real treasure, belonged to Kishan. Manga gasped. Master, he's outsmarted you again. Jam's shoulders sagged. He sat on the ground, shaking his head. This boy, he has taught me a lesson. Kishan walked up to him and spoke gently. Landlord, farmers work hard to feed others. They deserve respect and fair rewards for their labor. Taking advantage of their helplessness is wrong. Jam sighed deeply. You're right, Kishan. I have been unfair to the farmers for too long. The next day, Jam called all the farmers to his mansion. He announced that he would return all the lands he had taken and would pay them fairly for their work from now on. From that day forward, the village prospered. The farmers worked happily, knowing they would be rewarded justly. Kishan became a hero among them, not just for his cleverness but for restoring their dignity. As for Jam, he learned that greed and exploitation would always be defeated by intelligence and perseverance. He changed his ways and became a respected and fair landlord. This story teaches us that intelligence and resilience can triumph over greed and manipulation. Kishan's strategic thinking outwitted the cunning landlord, proving that wisdom is stronger than wealth. It also reminds us that those who exploit others will eventually face the consequences of their greed, and that fairness and honesty are the true keys to success and justice.